Hi everybody, and welcome to tonight's lesson. I'm real excited about what we're going to be doing. You probably wonder why I have this page open, like magazine covers on Google Images. Well, this is exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be making one of these magazine covers. So I just wanted to let you look at a location where you can see many different types of magazines. We have Time magazine with its characteristic red border for a news magazine. We have some ladies magazines for such as Elle, men's magazines, GQ, music magazines, entertainment magazines right up above it with Star. If you want to take a look at some magazines and get some ideas, this is a good place to go. But let's go ahead and look now back at our paper assignment of what we're going to be doing today. And what we're going to be doing is making a magazine cover. These are the things that I want in it. I want a full-size picture as the background. I want a title of the magazine, and that's going to be in a text box with no fill. I want at least one other picture inset on the cover. This picture must have a caption under it and a border around it. I want a list of stories that can be found in the magazine and at least one text box, again with no fill. And I want all text to be in a font color that is readable against this background. I don't want red text on a red background so I can't see it. So let's make sure you're doing that, okay? Let's go ahead and look at one I've already made. This is called Lakers Weekly, and I did this magazine using Kobe Bryant as my background picture. You can see there's the background picture. On top of it, I have a title of the magazine. Place that in a text box. Again, no line or fill around that. I put a picture on the cover and set it with a border around it, color matching the other colors I've used. Have a caption under that picture, and I have, instead of one text box with the articles, I highlighted two articles that are in the magazine. And I put them one in black because it matched the background better, and I put one in the same color as using. I also added my magazine logo, just a Lakers logo that I found on the internet, but I want to use that as my magazine's logo. Okay, let's go ahead and make that magazine now, okay? I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to go ahead and open up my blank document. And on my blank document, I have nothing, of course. I'm going to go ahead and, as we normally do when we want to use the whole page, let's go ahead and set our margin to narrow. So we have the whole page accessible. Let's go back to home, set that up, and now let's open up some images. I'm going to open up images that I've already been using, or I've already found, just so we can speed this through. I'm going to call my magazine Buckeye Nation, and as the background I'm going to use this picture of Braxton Miller, Ohio State's returning quarterback this year. As we've done before with pictures, nothing new. We're going to go ahead and copy that picture. We're going to paste it onto our document. After it's pasted on the document, you'll see again that that picture is not movable. We've got to format it, so we're going to wrap text, and we're going to put this one behind text since it's going to be my background. If I want to further do that, when I don't have to, but if I want to further work on that, I'll show you here. I want to pull it down just so I don't have to change the scale. I want to lose a little bit of his legs. I know I'm going to go over a little bit, but I want that on the cover. I brought him a little bigger. I filled up the page. I can also, once I'm on that, I can also put that and send it to the back, so I know that it's in the back, so I never don't have to worry about that. Now I can't click on the picture to insert text right now. I've got to do that from off the picture, because if you do, you'll notice that I get that's what I'm selected, so that's what it's going to affect. I'm just going to go over here, click off of it, and I'm going to insert my text box. Okay. As I've told you before, there are several designs on text box, and you know that I like to just draw my own because I want to put it exactly where I want it. And I want to make that text box right here, and in here is where I want to have the title of my magazine. I'm going to go back and I'm going to use a larger font right off the bat. It's probably not going to be big enough, I know, as I start, but it's something I can play with as I work on it. And I'm just going to stick with, let's go with Bazooka font style. And I'm going to go to my keyboard, Buckeye Nation, and I have that on 2 lines for a reason. I didn't want to go across the top. I wanted it on 2 lines. I see that that's still small. I can go ahead and let's highlight that. Let's go up to 48. Let's go up to 72. 72 maybe. Well, let's try 72 if I can expand it a little bit. This way and this way. Let's see if I can get that in there. I like that. That's okay. I think that'll work. I'm just going to move it off to the edge. Now I want to go back, and this is where I talked about no text, no fill. We're going to format our shape, and we're going to come back over here to no fill. I'm going to go to my line color. I want to go no line, and I want to close that. Now I have the title of my magazine there, and I think that that's not a color that I like. So what I want to do is I'm going to go up to my font, and I've already chosen a red that I think matches the jersey pretty well, and we have Buckeye Nation. I might go back, that's a little light, I might go back and change that later, but let's not get caught up in that. That's something you can play with, okay? Now the next thing I wanted you to do was I wanted you to insert a picture onto it. So I'm going to go back to my pictures, and underneath another tab I have this picture of Coach Urban Meyer and Braxton Miller again. I'm going to copy that picture, go back to my document, click off. I'm going to right click and paste that picture onto the document. You can see it's a rather large picture. I need to shrink it, of course. And also while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and let me check that again. I'm going to go ahead and wrap text on that so I can move it, and I'm going to put this in front of text. You'll notice that it jumped in front of my text there, but that's okay because I want to actually move this picture down here, place it underneath the football. I like that size. Before I do anything else, I want to go ahead and format that picture. I told you had to have a border around it, so let's go to line color. Let's make it a solid line, and let's make that color the same as what we've been using. Let's go ahead and make that line style then a little thicker so we can see it well. I think even a little quicker than that. Let's try 3-point, close, and there we have our picture inset with the border around it. Now we have to insert a text box again because we have to put a text or a caption underneath that picture. So let's go to our text box. Again, I like to draw it. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to just draw that text box to about the size that I need underneath that picture. Now so you can see it, I want to come down and enlarge the picture. Let's pull it up to a good size, 172%. That's plenty big enough. And I just want to scroll back over a little bit so you can see what I'm working with here, okay? Underneath my picture, I'm going to give it a caption of, let's go see what size font we're set at. We're set at Cleaver, and I'm going to go back to Bazooka. I'm going to try size 12, but it probably will be too big. We'll see once we get in there. And underneath that, I'm going to type Coach Urban Meyer and QB Braxton Miller. Hope to celebrate every game as they did last year. With an exclamation point. As you said, it's a little too big for that, but let's go ahead and pull this down a little bit. I get it all in there. I think that's still a little big, so I'm going to highlight all of that. I'd like to get it to 2 lines, but let's see what we can do. Let's go to 10. It's still going to be 3 lines, but I think the size works better. So I'm going to pull that right up under the picture. This text box, I'm going to go ahead and format it also. I've got no fill. I've got no line. I close. I've got a font style now that's not very readable against that background. So as I told you, I want to be able to read it. Let's look what white does on there. See how that looks. Oh, I like that. That stands out very well. So now as we take our magazine or our picture back down to a smaller size, you can see, although that might not be readable now, I've got my picture inset. I've got the caption underneath it. I've got my background. I've got my title. The only thing I need is a text box with what articles are in the paper, or in the magazine. So I'm going to come back to insert. I want to insert another text box. Again, I'm going to draw that text box, and down here I'm going to list the magazine articles that are in the articles that are in the magazine. It's going to be a little bigger. I'm only going to list 2 here. I want to come back to home, and I want to start that out with Bazooka. I want to stick to that. And I'm going to go to a size 14, a little bigger than what my caption was under my picture. And one of my articles for Buckeye Nation is going to be, can the Buckeyes, mistake, repeat as Big Ten, don't need a capital on that, champs, question mark. And that's going to be found on page 22. Parentheses back there. There's my first article. As I'm looking at this, I'm seeing that I'm going to want all of these centered. That's a little small right now. I can already tell that. Let's take our font up to 16. I'm going to go ahead and, just so you can see what we're working on, I'm going to enlarge that. Pull it down a little bit. My next article is going to be, we rank the Big Ten from top to bottom. And that's going to be found on page 78 of my magazine. And I'll put that there. And there we go. Forgot my period in there, so we'll go back and put that back. And I've got one more article that I want to have in here. So I hit enter. And where is my cursor there? Let's go ahead and hit enter, bring it down. Did it go down too far? Let's pull down and see what we have. Well, let's go ahead, before we start typing, I'm going to go ahead and add that next one in there. Does Braxton Miller have enough weapons to win the Heisman Trophy? That's a question mark. And that article can be found on page 42. Parentheses. Forgot to move that down, so I'm going to come back over here, move that down. Now I have all three right there. I have all three articles that I've listed. I'm going to expand that a little bit. I'm going to also just make that a little bigger. Let's see how big I can go. Let's see if we can go to 18. And I like that. I'm going to format my shape. I'm going to have no fill. I'm going to have no line. I have my text there. Close that. But as you can see, not very easily read. I'm going to highlight that all. I've got dark background and I've got white background. So I'm going to have to choose a background that will work on both of them. So I'm going to go back up to my font and I want to choose the same red I've been using. That stands out pretty well. So now I've got that on my magazine. So let's take a look at it. We're getting about there. One other thing that I did was I went in and I got a Ohio State football logo. So let's go with this one right here. I think we'll choose, which one do you like? Let's go with the original Ohio State logo. We're going to go ahead and pull that up then on the computer screen. Once I have that, I'm going to right click. This is a big file, so we're going to have to shrink this a lot, but we're going to copy that logo. We're going to go back to our document, click off to the side. We're going to paste the document onto the page. I think I have the wrong thing. Then let me shrink it a little bit so we can get back to where we want to be. Now it's thinking right now, so let's let it think for just a second. While it's doing that, we can go ahead and get up to speed with the rest of our magazine. But as you look at it, you can see everything that I've asked you to do, I've done. I've got the background here. Oh, I shrank it too small, didn't I? But I'm ready for the logo. So let's go ahead and put that logo back on now. It's a big file. That's why it took so long to come in. So I'm going to right click. And again, it's not wanting to do it because it is such a big file. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about this. As I was telling you, again, where did it go? Let's give it just a second. As I was telling you with the magazine cover, I have the background picture. I'm going to paste that now that I have it. I have the title of the magazine. I'm going to shrink this to a size that I want to use, and I'm going to go ahead and format that shape, that picture. Well, actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap text, and let's put it in front of text. And once I've done that, it's now movable. I'm going to bring it up here into the corner, and I'm going to shrink that to a size that's usable, and I'm going to leave that solid. So there we go. I'm going to enlarge it so you can see it a little better. And as you look at it, we've got the magazine cover with the background picture, the title, the logo, which I added, just something I wanted to do, and we've got the picture with the border around it, and we've got the articles that are in the magazine. So as you look at it, you've used tools that we've learned, tools that we've already acquired, skills that we've already acquired, and we've made our magazine cover. I'm really excited about what you guys are going to do tomorrow when you come in. Give this a shot tonight if you get a chance, but when you come in tomorrow, this is what we're going to be working, and you can create your own magazine. I'll see you tomorrow.